Sometimes when our lives are running smoothly and everything's perfect, we forget to be thankful for how lucky we are. And yet other people who are forced to endure incredible pain and suffering can only see the blessings in their lives. Well, you're about to meet a family who've discovered that no matter what life deals you, there's always a reason to be truly thankful. Kathleen and John Carlson were married in 1975. They both came from large families and hoped to have one of their own, but sadly, that was not meant to be.
We had a very, very difficult time. Kathleen had many miscarriages before she finally became pregnant. We had been married 8 years. Sometime after the first 3 months, after we had been just overjoyed and we were expecting to have a child, we went for a routine ultrasound.
And on that ultrasound, they picked up a birth defect called hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain. And we were told that the life expectancy of a child with hydrocephalus was not very promising.
We were completely floored. Many of the specialists we had seen and talked to were urging us to end the pregnancy.
But I was not comfortable with that. And we just decided to go ahead with having the baby. We just felt that there must be a reason for this pregnancy to be holding on.
4 months later, Kathleen gave birth to a premature baby boy. They named him Danny, but tragically, Danny suffered from more than just hydrocephalus.
Danny had something called spina bifida, which causes a malformation in the spine, and the doctor said to us, if he survived, that he would never walk, he would never say mama, and he'd probably be retarded.
That made me feel very, very angry, because you just kind of say, well, wait a second, how can you predict that? Nobody can predict the future. The first 24 to 48 hours were very critical, and he was so tiny, just so tiny. But I reached my hand into his bassinet and I touched him and I told him I was here. And then we just waited.
Danny survived, and 4 weeks later, the Carlsons took their son home, knowing that he would face a lifetime of medical problems.
Most of his body functions from his head to his toes were impaired in some way, and we decided that we were just going to love him and take care of him and do the best we could. He was our pride and joy, even if he wasn't perfect.
Danny's development was a little bit delayed, but not so bad that you would say, oh my gosh, that child is very delayed. I remember going to the pediatrician at 18 months and saying, you know, he's not babbling, he's not doing the baby talk. He's like, well, if he doesn't talk by 2, then we'll have a problem. Just around the time Danny turned 2, he started talking and didn't do any baby talk. He just came right out with sentences.
Ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages, welcome to the Danny Show.
From the beginning, Danny possessed a love for life that couldn't be dampened.
Through the years, he continued to have a lot of surgeries. He had to wear a brace on his body, braces on his legs. He walked with crutches, and eventually he used a wheelchair. But he was a fighter. He didn't seem to realize that he had these disabilities or these handicaps at all. He was an inspiration to a lot of people who would look at him and say, how can he be so upbeat, so happy in the face of everything that he deals with on a daily basis? We were incredibly proud of this kid.
And Danny was incredibly proud of his father.
I've been a member of the police department for more than 28 years now, and he thought cops were the greatest people in the world.
We would take his scout troop over to go on tours. Then he would really be, this is my dad's police department. It wasn't Nassau County Police Department, it was his dad's police department.
Where's he going?
Like so many other officers at the precinct, Larry Gilrain became attached to this courageous young man.
We dispatched a call by using the screen. When Danny used to show up at the precinct, if I was having a down day, if Danny was the type of person that would always bring you up, he always had a grin on his face, no matter how much pain the boy was in. And I know the pain at sometimes was excruciating. Danny always remained upbeat. In his mind, there was still hope that he was going to one day be a police officer and make himself proud and his father proud.